Here it is, GGB, co-host Puppers. Today we're going to talk about the Buccaneers at Eagles. Buccaneers are over 7 points on Fox on the Thursday Night Football. For a second, though, I don't think politics most in the channel, mainly because I think sports and politics should be entirely separate. I made like one political video, I think, the entire time. Like, I've even been on here, right? One, I think it was just me defending my favorite quarterback of all time, Drew Brees. It wasn't really that strange. A lot of people some people really annoy me, especially people on my side of the app. You don't know, I'm a little bit more right leaning, but people that are we gotta protest the NFL and not watch them. You just don't care about the NFL if you can just say that, just straight up. If you can just say, well, just stop watching it. Obviously you don't care enough, then your protest means nothing to me. I honestly don't care. I don't give a shit. But honestly, this thing really made me angry. The Buccaneers taking John Gruden out of their Hall of Fame, and I'm probably going to make another video about the Raiders and talk about a little bit more about what John Gruden did there. But I don't care what he did. Outside of freaking murdering a child or being like O.J. Simpson, I don't think he should be removed from the Buccaneers Hall of Fame. This man, you have 2 Super Bowl ring, guys. 2, don't get ahead of yourself. I mean, if the Saints just we'll just get rid of Sean Payton from our Hall of Fame. The heck? No, of course not. Or, we'll just get rid of Drew Brees. It makes no freaking sense. He is one of the people who got you a Super Bowl ring. Let's not act like you were a good team before John Gruden got there. John Gruden got there, you won the Super Bowl. John Gruden left there, you guys sucked for so many years. John Gruden was so much of your success in the Super Bowl run, and you're just going to toss him out. Just toss him on just screw the Bucs. Guys, just absolutely screw the Bucs. Oh my God. If you had any question whether they had any sort of integrity at all, it should be gone now. Because they don't freaking care what you did for them in the past. They don't care. They absolutely have no integrity. Freaking, I would say a bad word. The Bucs. Okay, F the Bucs. I don't care. They suck. But honestly, their sprout of injuries somewhat deserved for what they've done to John Gruden. So who's not going to be in this Buccaneers game? Pretty obvious who's not going to be in it if you've been following the news. There's a lot of people that might be out for this game. Tight end Rob Gronkowski is 100% out with a ribs injury. So that leaves backup O.J. Howard, who was a 2017 first-round pick out of Alabama, if you don't remember. He was very good before Rob Gronkowski got there. And Cameron Bright, who's also a very good player, 7th-round pick out of Harvard. It's not that much of a downgrade with no Rob Gronkowski. Center Ryan Jensen has a hip injury. He had a full practice Wednesday, but he's questionable for this game. He's probably going to play through the injury, but if not, Robert Hainsey, their 2021 third-round pick, so rookie out of Notre Dame, is going to play. Defensive end, again, another questionable. We have Pat O'Connor. He's the backup defensive end. He has a calf injury. Full practice Wednesday. It was 2017 7th-round pick out of Eastern Michigan. Kind of more depth on that line. They don't have any depth, honestly, really, all that much. But you really have Ndamukong Suh, William Golston, Vita Vea, and that's it. That's your defensive line, really. Left-hand side linebacker Jason Pierre-Paul has a shoulder injury. He had a full practice Wednesday, but he's going to be questionable. Anthony Nelson is listed as official backup on almost all depth charts. If you don't know who the Anthony Nelson is, he was a 2019 4th-round pick out of Iowa. But I'm really looking at that right outside linebacker. If JPP can't play, Joe Tryon Shoyinka, he was 2021 first-round draft pick out of Washington. I feel like if JPP cannot go today, it will be Tryon in his place. And then the long shot for winning that job is Cam Gill, the second-year player out of Wagner. I don't see it happening. I think it's going to be Nelson or Tryon. I'm leaning towards Tryon if JPP can't go tonight. Right inside linebacker, Lamonte David is an ankle injury, so he's out for this game. The interesting thing about that is, Tryon's an outside linebacker. Normally you don't move the outside linebacker to play the inside linebacker position, but you could, technically speaking. There's a pretty significant learning gap and difference, but it's not horrible. You could conceivably do it, but again, he's a rookie. I wouldn't. So you have KJ Britt, who's listed as official linebacker, backup right inside linebacker, 2021 5th-round pick out of Auburn. And then you have the backup for left inside linebacker, Kevin Minter. He was 2013 2nd-round pick out of LSU. So it just depends on who you trust more. Obviously, KJ Britt is a rookie, but he's put in some solid minutes so far for the Buccaneers. And then you have Kevin Minter, who's again a veteran, so interesting there. And then they have Grant Sturd, who's again just like Gill. He's a long shot, but he was a 2021 7th-round pick out of Houston. So he's a long shot to win that starting gig, but he could end up seeing more time thanks to the Levante David injury. Most people know about the injuries they've had at corner. Starting 2 corners, Sean Murphy Bunting, the 2019 second-round pick out of Central Michigan, has an elbow injury. He's on IR, and he's out to at least week 7, which honestly seemed good in that first week. I thought he broke his arm, but again, it turned out to just be an elbow injury. But that means the earliest he can come back is next week, which is good. You're getting reinforcements back if you're the Bucs. But again, you still got to survive this week. And Carlton Davis, their 2018 second-round pick out of Auburn, had a quad injury. He's on IR till week 8. So you're getting him back soon. You just got to survive this week. So that means Jamel Dean, the 2019 third-round pick out of Auburn, is going to end up being that number 1 corner. And then obviously Shine Richard Sherman out of free agent to be that number 2 corner. Honestly, the corners are a little bit weak, but I don't know about the passing game for the Eagles. And then obviously one big injury left. Strong safety, Antoine Winfield Jr. has a concussion. He's out for this game. Their third-string guy is also out for this game. I think it's worth mentioning because, again, that leaves only one official strong safety on the roster, and that's Andrew Adams, the 6-year player out of UConn. But then also, I think you got to consider that the backup free safety on this team could also end up switching to strong safety for this game at least. Mike Edwards, 2019 third-round pick out of Kentucky. I feel like Antoine Winfield Jr., I believe, was out for the first game of the season, and I feel like if I remember correctly, Mike Edwards did play in his spot. So I feel like Mike Edwards is the logical pick for this week. But again, don't forget Andrew Adams. He could also end up seeing some significant playing time. Eagles only have 2 really new injuries. Now, obviously, they had the Brandon Graham injury at the beginning of the year. But I don't feel like I need to mention that. Most people know about it. Tight end Dallas Goddard is going on the COVID reserve list. I don't remember how long that is normally, but he is going to be out for this game, which means Zach Ertz, 2013 second-round pick out of Stanford, who, again, is a Pro Bowler. He's very good. He's going to end up being the number 1 tight end. So the number 2 tight end is likely going to be Jack Stoll. He was an undrafted player this year out of Nebraska. Or Tyree Jackson, his first-year player. He's been in the league for 1 year. He was a quarterback at Buffalo. He switched to tight end. He made some plays in the preseason, so keep an eye on him. He's supposed to be back from IR this week. He's expected back this week. So he could be a number 3 tight end option for this team. And then the only other injury for the Eagles they have is right tackle Lane Johnson. It's not an injury, but it's a personal reason he's out for this week, which leaves 3 really options. Jack Driscoll is listed as his official backup. He was a 2020 4th-round pick out of Auburn. But Andre Dillard is listed as the official backup left tackle, but I feel like he has a better chance of switching over a right tackle and winning the starting job because Andre Dillard was a 2019 first-round pick out of Washington State. And then I feel like the long shot for this job, but he is in fact on the roster, so I think I should mention him. Brett Toth, he's a 3rd-year player out of Army. I feel like it's a long shot for him to win that starting gig, but you never know. So I went over all the injuries. Let's just talk about the Buccaneers real quick. They are 4-1 on the year, and they look good doing it. Tom Brady has a little bit of a hand injury I forgot to mention, but again, probably not going to affect much. I think the Buccaneers are a really good football team, and I really am sad to say that because as the Saints fan, I freaking hate the Buccaneers, and I need them to lose this football game. Eagles have been better than expected, I guess I can say, but still not great. They're 3rd place in the division, right? They're ahead of the Giants, which honestly did not expect that after a couple of weeks. But New York said to deal with some different injuries, but the Eagles, they look good last week against the Panthers. So again, the Panthers are likely the 2nd best team in the division, although I feel like you could make an argument the way the Saints are playing lately that they're the best team in the division, especially since the Saints are actually going to get a lot of phenomenal players back after the bye. But the Eagles, they've looked better than I thought they would, honestly. Jalen Hurts hasn't looked horrible starting, and honestly, their scheme they're basically planned to look like a Ravens team. It hasn't worked horribly. Honestly, you have Jalen Hurts, who's a running quarterback. Honestly, if you look at the team, they're setting it up to look exactly like the Ravens, which, I mean, props to you. Ravens are a successful football team, but Jalen Hurts is a very similar quarterback to Lamar Jackson. Don't think he has the same arm that Lamar Jackson does, but similar player. You have 2 solid running backs in Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell, which is what the Ravens had heading into this year, and Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. And then you had the tight ends. Tight ends is a big thing. Again, Dallas Goddard's out for this game, but Zach Ertz is a very reliable option. And then you obviously have the Ravens' favorite target is Mark Andrews. And then the receivers, you have many of them that work, and they're very similar players. Jalen Reagor, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins. These are all some players that are very similar. There's no very big receivers that are going up to go up there and meet the ball, but they're very similar receivers. The only thing I have a problem with this Eagles team is the offensive line is nowhere near as good as the Ravens offensive line, and losing Lane Johnson is going to be really difficult for this team. But again, on Thursday night, normally you go with the underdogs. The underdogs normally cover. That is a trend that has happened on Thursday Night Football for a long time. Again, short week means, especially with the Bucs facing all the injuries, I think this game is going to be closer than most people expect, especially since it's in Philly. Give me the Bucs to win, but the Eagles to cover. Everybody's GGB saying adios amigos.